All right, I'm turning the mic over to the mayor.
Thanks, TJ. Good evening, everybody. I am so excited to see so many people in this room. Heard TJ say this. The last time this really happened was 2019, which is a really long time ago. I vividly remember sitting in our conference room on the second floor early on in 2020, having the conversation, do we plan to send youth ambassadors, do we not? And none of us knew where we were going to end up, what things were going to look like. And obviously the right decisions were made and things were put on pause. But anytime you pause something, that means that there's a restart. And so what I am really excited about is that we're full into that restart. And that's evidenced by everybody that's in the room tonight, by all of the youth ambassadors that I had the chance to meet this summer, the successful exchanges that we have had, the correspondence that we're having with our sister cities. It makes me really, really grateful. And I just want to say thank you to everybody for keeping this going. For those of you that I do not know, I will give you a little bit of history. I have been a fan of our Kent Sister Cities program since about 1987. So a really, really long time. I had the great fortune of being an exchange student to our then sister city, Kaibara, which is now Tamba, when I was a sophomore at KM. And I did the year-long exchange then. Fast forward a lot of years, my son was able to travel both to Tamba and to Norway and had a great experience out of it. And then as mayor, I have had the absolute pleasure of getting to support this program because I do believe in it very, very deeply. So really excited that this is all happening. So TJ mentioned it, had an opportunity to travel to Tamba in October. The last time we went, Mayor Backus from the city of Auburn also went. She was not able to attend this time, so I went and represented both of us. We had a really great visit. New principal at Kaibara High School, talked to him a lot about the importance of the exchange program, trying to look at getting that year-long exchange program happening again. That's one of the unique things with the Japan program is there's that 2-week, that 10-day opportunity, and then also figuring out what does getting that 1-year exchange program happening again. So met with him, met with the mayor, and had some really good conversations there. Just visiting with Tracy, talking about how we get things happening with Norway, and we'll be reaching out and having conversations with the mayor there as well. And then over the summer, been in conversation with China on what does that look like and getting a trip scheduled to keep the relationships alive, right? It's really important to have those touch points to make sure that our sister cities know that as a city, we are committed to the program. So I think that high level, that's sort of where things are at. I do want to introduce to all of you, I'm sitting in the back of the room. I think she might have her headphones in. Pri, wave your hand. So this is Pri. She is my executive assistant and will be the liaison to the Sister City program. So she's learning all the processes here, had a chance to meet a few folks in the room, and just know that together we are going to keep working, making sure that the city is upholding their end of this deal, because it really, really is very important. So any questions I can answer for anybody before we move on to the certificate portion? You guys can't let me off that easy. That's no. Again, thank you so much, and looking forward to a really successful year.
Thank you, Mayor. Absolutely. Well, good evening, everybody, and thank you so much for coming. I'm extremely happy to see a lot of previous youth ambassadors that went to China, Santiago, Stephanie, Kip's parents. So it's really nice to see you here, because this only shows that you're here to support us and you want the program to continue to grow. Thank you for being here. With China, as everybody knows, we like to send high schoolers to China for 3 weeks. Last year, we had the privilege to send Jacob Led right here, and I would like to introduce you to Mayor Ralph.
Thank you for coming up. So we have a certificate to present that it says, in recognition of 500 hours of community service. 500 hours. That is very impressive. In active participation in President Eisenhower's vision of promoting world peace through person-to-person diplomacy through cultural exchanges. That's amazing. Thank you for participating in the exchange. Thank you for the community service. Really, really grateful. Yeah, thank you so much. I think we'll just give it back to Tina, Master of Ceremonies.
Great. Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Lucy. So for those of you that are out there, one of the issues that we've had since COVID is essentially we kind of went into a hiatus. We've lost some people over that amount of time, and it's really, really hard to rebuild some of these committees. So our China committee and our Norway committee definitely need help in reestablishing and kind of getting the ball picked up and rolling again. So as you go out in the community, if you meet people or see people, and if you could tell them about the program and let them know that these organizations could use some help, that would be greatly appreciated, because, like I said, some of us have been around for a long, long time, and I'm pretty fortunate. I am the chair of the Kent-Auburn-Tombah Sister City Committee. We're probably the oldest one. Our organization has been around for just about 60 years now. Over the years, we've had over 200 students from Kent and Auburn that have done year-long and summer exchanges with Tombah, Japan. We were fortunate to get started with our exchange in 2023. We did that with some legacy folks that we had that went for a second time, and then some people that we were able to hold over from before COVID, so we were fortunate there. So we restarted our exchanges in the summer of 2023. So during 2024, we had 4 youth ambassadors that traveled during our summer program. They completed their 2-year obligation in December. So the way KAT works is our youth ambassadors travel in the 2nd year of their commitment. So they went in 2024. We had 4 youth ambassadors, and they earned between 480 and 520 hours of community service time. So that was fairly significant. Other things that happened for us in 2024, we had a fundraising auction was extremely successful, so that went very, very well. So we're doing good there. In terms of KAT, I do have a couple of my committee or board members that are here, and I'd like to introduce them real quick. We have Kaylee Dickinson. She is our Youth Ambassador Chair. So she she sets up our applications, she helps with recruiting, things like that. She kind of manages the summer activities and all that other stuff. We also have Heidi Dobbs, who is our new secretary. She's here along with her son. Yay! She was the final piece of the puzzle. And then also I'd like to recognize Patty. She's a longtime member of KAT and used to be a board member, and has had her kids have gone to Tombah, so she's here with us tonight. My Vice President, Rihanna, isn't here tonight. She wasn't able to be. And then Treasurer Mercy, she's also not here tonight. But Kaylee, in particular, was a year-long youth ambassador, as well as a summer youth ambassador, too. So there's that. And moving on to 2025, we do have 4 youth ambassadors that are going to be going in the summer of 2025. We are also recruiting right now for 2026. As of right now, we have, and interestingly enough, 6 of them are from Kent currently. We have 4 current applications, all from Kent, which is good. We have a 5th one potential, and then we have 2 potentials from Auburn at the moment, and hopefully we'll build on that. Kaylee just completed her last visit yesterday with was it the day before yesterday with Auburn Riverside? So yeah, we're wrapping up the recruiting season. We'll be moving into the time of the year when we do the interviews and stuff like that to build on the program. We do have our first applicant for a year-long since COVID. So our last year-long, we had to pull out of Tombah in 2020 in March. She came back. We had to pull her out early. And since then, we have not had a year-long. We do have a year-long applicant, and he's with us tonight, and that's Nawe. Well, hopefully we're going to get that program restarted too. We have a potential second applicant as well, and that would be, if we were to do it, would be the first time ever, I think, that we've sent 2 applicants in the same year for a year long, I believe. So there's some potential there as well. So we're doing pretty well, and we're moving forward. And fortunately, I have a full board, so which is a relief because this is there's a lot that's going on and stuff. So I'm very happy to have a full board and everybody's support. So some of our big goals this year, Kaylee has been working on a kind of a code of conduct program, if you want to call it that, for our youth ambassadors, both for our youth ambassadors from the United States and the ones coming from Japan, and to kind of help us get ahead of any problems that we might have. Some additional things are we have extensive cultural training that our kids go through before they go to Japan. So Kaylee's also kind of leading the way on maybe trying to get a little bit of cultural training for our Japanese youth ambassadors to visit here, because as much as we need to understand what's going on there, we've discovered that, things are different for them here. So it's kind of nice for them to learn a little bit of our culture and kind of know what to expect when they're coming our direction as well. So those are some of the big things on tap that we've got coming for this year. And without any further ado, I guess now's the time that we bring up our presenter.
Awesome. Well, my name is Jacob Lee. I was one of the youth ambassadors this last summer for Yangshuo, China. I'm currently attending Kentridge High School, and I'm also a Running Start student at Green River. So yeah, thank you everyone for being here as I talk about my trip to Yangshuo, China. Sadly, today we aren't going to be joined with my other youth ambassador, Marco Del Cid. He's starting off his agricultural studies in Honduras, which is really exciting. Ooh, it vibrates. So let's start off first, Yangshuo. When I first landed in Yangshuo, what I was given as my first meal from my host family was some sort of chicken noodle soup in a sense, just Chinese style. On the side of that, I also had some dragon fruit and a dumpling, which was filled with some sort of grain. I wasn't really told what it was, but it tasted absolutely amazing. However, the second day, I did get a little homesick, so I had to go to this first spot you kind of see, which was KFC. And by the way, I ate so much. I had, I think, 2 servings of chicken burgers and fries, which was great. But then that same night, my stomach finally settled, and I got to have a family dinner with Charlie, my host brother, and his friends. So before I get anywhere into my presentation, these are some of the friends I did meet. In the top left-hand corner with me, Charlie is the guy in the other black shirt. He's giving us a thumbs up. The guy in the center, his name is Calvin. So he's one of his school friends that he met, and he's kind of more into political, psychological standpoints in school, it was fun to talk with him, to see his standpoints on different points of the government. And at the Beijing 2008 Olympics, the guy standing in the center, his name is Ren Cho. I'll talk more about him as I get to my Beijing slides. He accompanied me, Charlie, and I to Beijing, and he's just a car enthusiast, so it was really fun to see that, he was able to have the same interest that I do now. So yeah, awesome. Okay, let's get into it. One of the first places I went to when I landed in Yangshuo was the Museum of the Han Guanling King from the Han Dynasty. What was really interesting when I went here was how he was buried. So he was buried in just a whole armor of jade with castings of gold, and they would bury him within a tombstone on top of, it was a pagoda, and they would bury him just kind of like Egyptians, where he would be buried with multiple sculptures of either warriors, horses, or even, I think, there were some of cannons, not cannons, but archers, I think. So that was really cool to look at. There are also some artifacts on the right of what he was buried with, so special plates, bowls, all that type of stuff. The next day, we went to the Ho family garden, which it was a nice change of pace, being able just to live in the kind of older architecture. We were able to walk through all the rooms. Sorry, I didn't put any photos on there, but we were able to walk through every single room, and we were just there just enjoying the architecture, and it was a really enjoyable sight. However, it was really, really hot that day, and we had to go, I think, around 1, and we went to go get some ice cream because I was drenched in sweat. I think I had if there was a bucket at the floor, it would have already been filled up. But I was just drenched in sweat, so we went to go get some desserts. And so the two on the left are a mango pudding dessert, and that was a cute bear. There was a bear with, I think it was a lemongrass tea, which was really tasty. Later that night, we also had a dinner, and that dinner was filled with kind of, if you think about it, those yellow pieces were like chicken nuggets, but they were just sweet chicken nuggets. So, and the burger, that was the Chinese style of a burger. So we're going to move on from that. A lot of food. There's still a lot more food. But one of the places that was really a peak when I went to Yangshuo was the Grand Canal Museum. When Lucy first came up to me, she told me that Yangshuo was one of the few cities that had canals because it's so far inland. And as I went through this canal museum, I was taught by Charlie, helping me interpret everything they told me, that Yangshuo was kind of just one of the main port cities back in the day, that it would help move any big imports or exports from inland China to coast China. And that was one of the really interesting parts when I went to the Grand Canal Museum, being able to see how all these routes were made or how all these routes changed throughout the years. To kind of end off Yangshuo, Charlie's parents did own a shop that did sell ice cream, and what was really cool about these ice cream shops is that, I don't know if you can see it, but all of these ice cream shops had different famous tourist attractions printed onto the ice cream. So the chocolate and vanilla ice cream had what was in Nanjing, the porcelain tower, which was really cool. And in the green one, there was I think that was one of the bridges in Yangshuo, which I didn't get to go to, but Charlie did tell me about those ones. Those are also some of the other drinks I did have. So in terms, they do kind of have a Western culture when it comes to drinks, which was really surprising when I got there. Yeah. So moving on from Yangshuo, I was privileged enough to be able to go to 3 other cities. I was able to go to Nanjing, Beijing, and Shanghai throughout this whole trip. In Nanjing, we went to the Confucius Temple, Qinhua, their scenic view, the scenic area. And in the picture on the left, that's my buddy, my host brother, Charlie, and I. That's after we climbed 11 flights of stairs. I don't know why he didn't take the elevator. 11 flights of stairs to get all the way up to the top. And after getting to the top, I didn't take any photos, sadly, but it was just really cool to look out because it looked like it was just a really big garden with a bunch of different statues up on the side. And one of the other really interesting spots when I went to this temple, or the scenic area, was on the right. There was a kind of tree of rebirth. That's what Charlie had told me. And people were praying to the tree, or bowing to the tree, hoping in rebirth. That's what he told me when I was there. That was a really cool spot. Now, the next place I went in Nanjing was the Niashushan tourist zone. While I was at this tourist zone, I was really confused, and it was really hot, so I was kind of dazed the whole time. But one of the key components that Charlie did tell me when I was there was that this is where they had allegedly buried Buddha's head. Buddha's head was buried all the way underneath the central photo, all the way underneath that whole, shrine that they had made him. And you would have to take about 3-4 flights of stairs all the way down. This time he did let me use the elevator, so we were okay. He did let me use the elevator, and we made it all the way down. It was just really beautiful to see how their architecture, how everything is built, and it was just really nice. Now, this should be checked off on everyone's bucket list if you do go to China, Beijing. This is probably one of the favorite spots compared to Yangshuo. When we went to Beijing earlier, like I said, we got to see the 2008 Beijing Olympics. So in the bottom right-hand corner, we saw the ice cube. That's where Michael Phelps had swam. I hope you guys know who that is. Where he had swam. And also the bird's nest, where all the track and field, that's where they performed. And kind of going into the ice cube, because we didn't get to go into the nest because we were short on time, the ice cube had really opened my eyes as a swimmer myself. That 50 yards does not look like 100 yards in that big of a pool. So it was just eye-opening to see how big those pools can really get. Next, because Charlie and I didn't really have much time with his parents, because his parents owned so many companies, we were kind of sent off on our own to Beijing. And with that, Charlie didn't really follow a plan this time. He kind of just sent us in. And we had a lot of time to stroll the streets. And one of the favorite streets that he sent me to was Huafujing pedestrian street. And that's kind of a street where a lot of different cultures are different cultures are within the street. It's not only a Chinese street. You have a lot of Japanese culture. So you have Gundam on the left-hand side. And then you kind of have some European, sorry, a little nasally, some European culture with the waffle cone. I think that's what it's called, waffle cone on top. But also, on the bottom right-hand corner, that is I think that was a church. I don't know what church, but it was a church. So yeah. We were also fortunate enough to go see Tsinghua University Art Center. We did not have enough time to see the actual university, but when I first came to the art center, I thought it was the university because of how large it was. If you were to refer to this art center, think about Kent Meridian mixed in with Kent Lake. That's how big just their art gallery was. So one of my favorite pieces of artwork is this centerpiece. And if you were to see it in person, that piece was very textured. And it kind of looks like an industrial grade workplace where there's a couple beams, there's a couple rooms, which was really nice. And there are a couple fans and some couple older pieces of literature, which was really cool to see how big their art center really was. Now, this was probably my favorite part of Beijing. I got to climb the Great Wall at night. The Great Wall at night, I don't think was an option back then, a couple years back, but after they lit it up, it was an option for us that year. And let me tell you, I have never felt the most cool physically on the Great Wall at night. It was probably 60, 70 degrees. We'd think that's hot, but that was really cool there because we're Washingtonians. It was really cool there. But climbing up the wall, we also got gowns. So you can see Ren Cho, Charlie, standing in the picture with me. I took mine off because I was sweating still. They were wearing the gowns that they'd given us, and I still have that gown. And it's kind of, I really enjoyed that at that wall they had so much inclusivity with what you're wearing on the wall. So the females would have gone kind of a pink gown. Us guys, we got a golden gown, which is kind of what they would quote unquote wear as emperors. That's what Charlie told me. So, yeah. So kind of wrapping up what I did in China. After we came back from after we took a train back to Yangshuo, we spent the night, and the next day we took another bullet train to Shanghai. When we took that bullet train to Shanghai, we got there around 11 at night, and Charlie wanted to show me around a little bit. I asked him, why would you want to show me around? It's late, I'm tired. And he's like, dude, trust me. And the moment we got on the train, we walked up the stairs. Imagine walking into a room as a kid, seeing all your favorite toys on the ground. That's the moment that's how I felt when I exited the train, looking all up at all the buildings, all the lights, just it hit me at once. And that's what this was, the Wenguo Construction Balanquan, which was kind of just, it was still being built, but everything was just beautiful. It was a sight to see. There was the Giant Pearl, which we wanted to go on, but Charlie said it was too late, so we didn't get to go on it. But that's kind of their equivalent to our Space Needle, in a sense. So it was really cool to see that they also kind of have their own sense of Space Needle. We also went the next day, so this is the day before we flew out, we went to Shanghai Jiaotong University. This university kind of opened my eyes to see that, not all universities are really walking distance. This university had me riding a bike at least 2 minutes to just get to a convenience store. I didn't like it because it was smoking hot. I could not handle all that heat, but it was still fun to go there. Just seeing how these universities are built, their dormitories are so huge. Just to think how many people they can fit. If you thought UW was huge, like UW Seattle was huge, this school is maybe twice or thrice their size. That's how many people they're holding at this college, university. It was really amazing to see that. And ending off that night, we went to a historical art museum. So I got to see penguins, polar bears in China. And it was just really nice to just kind of loop back everything that, yes, even though we may have our differences, we still have the same things. And that was kind of my snapshot of Yangshuo. That's only an eighth of what I've had. I have so much more. There's not more anymore, but if you'd like to come talk with me with more, there's a lot more. So yeah, thank you.
How long were you there?
I was there for 3 weeks.
Wow. And then he was here for 3 weeks?
Yeah, Charlie was also here for 3 weeks.
Awesome. Very good. Well, thank you, sir. Glad you had sound like an action-packed trip, to say the least. Awesome. Okay, so we appreciate the presentation, and thanks everybody for coming. I appreciate it, and we'll see you again next year, hopefully. All right.